I am East Baltimore. My personal connection with East Baltimore, born, bred, and still live here. 61 years. Um, my family, originally Alabama, Virginia, by way of Turner Station to Baltimore. The early 30s, they came up into Turner Station. They moved up into East Baltimore in the 40s, right after Second World War. Family purchased home on Chase Street and lived there for a while and then outgrew it because it was multiple families who came together. Camilla and James Madison, my grandparents. Two sides, my aunt and my father's family, they were all together and decided when my father was coming out of the military to move up on North Avenue. At that time, North Avenue was, basically it was the boundary line for the city. So I come a long way. East Baltimore, for me, my father, he moved around a little. He worked steel mill, crane operator. So he raised 3 children. So we lived on Elwood, we lived on Rutland, we lived on Lafayette, but our main staple was North Avenue, my grandparents' home. It was community-based. Every neighborhood had an identity. Black, white was an issue. I remember traveling downtown with my grandmother shopping at Lane Bryant. I didn't understand why we had to go down in the basement, but later on in life, I found out that there was segregation. I remember the old 5 and dime stores. Black folk were entrepreneurs. We didn't have crime like we have crime now. We had a city that had its own identities. We had the Germans who were still here, the Italians, the Greeks, each community separated with culture. So I got a chance to see those things, even though we had very little cultural representation in our community, but we had our own sense of culture because it was a community culture where if you did something wrong as a young child, you got corrected by the neighbors and then you got corrected when you got home. Kind of kept you on a pace. But things changed after the looting. When we lost the president and we lost Dr. King, they just destroyed the city. 80s, I went off into the military. It was a great change because Baltimore had the drug epidemic here in Baltimore, and it wiped a lot of hopes and dreams out. That time, my grandmother was running 84 years of age. And she used to write me letters and tell me how the neighborhood was changing. And she would hope that one day when I come home, I could help make a difference because she don't know if she could hold a house. Taxes were starting to go up and, cost of living, and because there was no increase because, once you become seniors, you're on fixed incomes and houses are falling down. The box stores was coming in, the hardware stores was going out. There's nowhere to make the repairs. Our people didn't know about the trades. And so she sent me one letter and said, come home. When you come home, come take over the home. And who knew it would be almost 40 years now later that I became a homeowner here in East Baltimore. I mean, we have Billie Holiday. We've had Cab Calloway. We've had, numerous people, but there was no point of return. It was like, once you got out of Baltimore, you're out of that shame part of it, and you just want to destroy it. And to me, I look to our young people of today as the future because they're still dreaming, They're still visualizing what their future should look like. But they're setting goals, but sometimes they're unrealistic in understanding all of the options that they have to go through to obtain them, with education cost and things of that nature to develop you as a professional. Dealing with reality brings that on. So that's where I look to our history and our young people and their DNA. It's going to come out, those missing pieces.